Hi YouTube! Today we're gonna be assembling this SuperSix EVO non-high modulus Tiagra road bike. This is the episode for all my subscribers who just love assembling bikes, love road bikes. I will be talking to you about road bikes, differences between great frame, not that good components, or good components, not that well-made frame. So that's all about Tiagra SuperSix EVO, because we have a great frame and the lower components, and that would be my choice. So I just pause the video, make some nice tea, and then you can get back to the video and join me here. First off, I will put the seat post into the frame, but just a little bit. It's gonna be a new bike. I won't be testing this one, so I will only assemble this one. I disassemble it in order to weigh the frame, which weighs 1150 grams with the bottom bracket BB30, which means it should weigh about 1050 grams or so. Can you see the whole frame here? Yeah, you've got the whole picture here. Alrighty. So, the fork. Let's weigh this one, because I forgot about it. I still have my scale here. So, the fork is full carbon. So this is the bike you can upgrade with Derailleur, with Campagnolo Super Record, and it won't be overkill. Let me tell you what's the weight of the fork. With the uncut steerer, that's 370 grams, about 370. I'm gonna lay this one down. Once again, 375. So just about 370 grams, very stiff and light fork. Carbon steerer, what it does, it makes the fork much lighter, because we have the Cat Optimo here with the alloy steerer, carbon blades, carbon steerer, and this one will be significantly heavier, but also in terms of compliance, so taking some vibration, of course the full carbon one will be better. And since we are riding, this is road bike, so we are riding thin tires and high pressure, carbon does make a difference. It doesn't make a difference for mountain bikes, for gravel bikes, yeah, a little bit, because you have bigger tires there and lower pressure. But for road bikes, for sure, this is something you can actually feel. So what shall we start with? I'm just gonna grab anything that's on my way. Let's start with the bottom bracket. Bottom bracket is there. This is the BB30 FSA Omega crankset, and this one is very heavy. I'm gonna even weigh this one. You will know. 2 arms, so both arms with the shim and a spacer. Sorry for that. And this will be, I think it could be even a kilogram. Let me see. The right crank arm is 663, so the right one with the chain rings, and then the whole one, that's 942 grams. 942. It's a heavy one. And it's not really stiff, so we actually have a lot of materials, but not that much of a stiffness. BB3 spindle is great, but the arm itself isn't that good here. So the little seal is there, it's already on the crank, so I'm not gonna be removing this one. I will just fasten it lightly first. Just like that. First goes this little spacer. It actually seals the bottom bracket bearings, and then we have this waiver. All right, So the first thing I would upgrade on this bike is the crankset. I absolutely love Cannondale hologram crankset. In my opinion, it's the best one you can get. So hologram crankset for this bike, yes. But even without any upgrades, it's just a solid, good bike. So I'm telling you guys, it's a good one. It's a good bike because of the frame. You would be surprised how heavy carbon frames of some affordable road bikes can be, because, as I said, many manufacturers will sell you bike on, let's say, 105 and in the same price that Cannondale gives you this one on Tiagra, but the frame, it will not be the same quality. It just won't be the same. Okay, let's put the fork. Beautiful, beautiful carbon fork. I like the white edge here on the back of the fork and then at the bottom of the frame. Okay, it's time for the bearings. Headset bearings. We've got 2 of those. Okay, this is the one at the bottom. So it will be like that. And the other one is prepared. It's everything clean, so just make sure you have the grease around. But I did that for you in many other tutorials. I'm just doing it now for the sake of building the whole bike with you. All right, looking good. This is looking good. Now the top one, boom and boom. Beautiful. The bearings are new. And then when you buy a new bike, we say that the steer is uncut, which means, sorry, this one goes first, which means that you can adjust the height of your handlebars for yourself. Don't do it right after buying the bike. Just ride the bike a little bit with all the spacers. You see, 1, 2, 3 thin spacers, and then one is much larger. And then goes the stem, like this. Why wait? It's because you will adjust your body position after some hundreds of kilometers. You will feel more about the bike. You will know more about your riding style. So how many hours you're riding each time, and what's your flexibility. Maybe you will be also improving your flexibility at the same time, just by riding, but also by doing some exercises. And then you will decide to go down with the stem, maybe by one spacer, moving it out, taking it out, or more, or all. But don't just shoot for slamming the stem all the way down. It's no point. Of course, the bike will look aggressive, very aggressive, but it should be comfortable for you, for your back, and for your riding style. And then we've got an expander. You see, this is it. It's not a star nut as we would have, or we have, on the alloy fork. This is the expander, and the expander makes safe connection between a carbon steerer and your stem. That's why on the full carbon forks, we're going to use expanders. This is how it looks like. Boom, it goes inside, and then I will be screwing the bolt in, and it will expand between the carbon steerer and the stem, and then the fork will be assembled to the stem. So let's do that right now. I will check everything out after putting the bike down on the wheels. So this is just for pre-assembling some parts. So I'm pre-assembling this one. Okay, cool. Like this. And then the other, this one here, will suck it in. So it will compress the bearings. I'm loving this work. I'm loving this work. If I was to buy, because these bikes are not for me. If I was to buy a road bike for myself, that would be either high quality alloy, which is Cannondale Cat 12, or for me, Rose Pro SL, or Rose, the German bike. Very light, very good bicycle, also with good components. So I liked it. Cannondale Cat 12 will be more compliant, so that will be probably the bike I would go for. Not just because I am a fan of Cannondale bikes, just because I tested that, it works, I like it. Sorry guys to put my back on you. Now goes the handlebars, and then I will show you, I will make the cable routing, but I will make like separate video about cable routing, because especially on the Cannondale, you need to really adhere to the instructions. The instructions are very important here. These are my handlebars. This is it, handlebar. And then I'm gonna remove one more zip tie. But as I said, I will be riding an awesome bike this season, a road bike, I mean. But I made a goal for me to use it only when my FTP goes above 300 watts. So the bike is already here, is in the studio, just there, behind the wall, and I'm still not there. I'm still not there. I made an FTP test 3 days ago. It was very windy, bad conditions, rainy, and my FTP was much lower than the last time I measured it. It was only 249 watts. Super low. I am 100% sure it will be much higher than that. And the reason for the FTP being so low was the rain and the wind. I was riding in the headwind, which is very annoying, and it makes you ride slower actually. So I'm gonna repeat my FTP test very soon, maybe even this week. I think it should be around 270 watts right now, and I want to hit 300 watts within like 2 months. It is possible. It is a lot. It is a lot of difference between 270 and 300. That's 30 watts. But I am not a newbie, and I have the base. So I've already made the base miles throughout the winter, even the fall last year, which means I've got the base for the training. Now if I put something on that training, it will grow. It has the fundamentals. Alright, the handlebar is just about like that. There should be more different lines here on the handlebar and on the stem, showing you that your handlebar is centered and what angle you've got. It should be same with the seat post. There should be line on the frame and on the seat post that your saddle is straight. But there is no such indicators on the bike. So we have carbon bikes, we have almost like, not almost, we have like NASA rocket science quality on the bikes and technology, but we don't have such simple things which would be very, very, very handy to us riders. Alright, so handlebars are there. Then the rear brake. The bike comes with the rear brake assembled and the front brake disassembled. So I'm gonna assemble the rear brake now, then the front brake, and then before I put the wheels on, I'm gonna work on the cables. Because on the SuperSix, oh, I should left the crankset still removed. I have to remove it just in order to show you something. Because if you do it wrong on the SuperSix with the cable routing here in the bottom bracket shell, the cable will it will cut your spindle in half. That's the thing. Alrighty. This one should be on this side. Okay, so we have little spacer here on one side, and then this nut goes on the other side, and it goes inside the frame. Cool. The brakes are very basic. For as I mentioned on the previous episode, for a carbon bike, quality bike, that costs you $1,500, you don't expect anything fancy in terms of the components. So having the shifters and the derailleurs from Tiagra is just fine. The brakes will be just fine, only if you ride in extreme conditions like mountains, high speed, maybe even rain. Then you could consider buying some other brakes, or just start with removing the pads. Or if you're a heavy rider, that would be the thing. Okay, now I'm gonna route the cables. We're not gonna be doing it together here on this episode because it will be a separate episode which I'm doing right now, and after that episode I will meet you back with the whole assembly. Guiding the cables completed, the other video made, and now it's time for the housings. First off, once again, I'm going to clean the end of the cable. And I'm not really overdoing it, believe me, I've seen so many times problems with the rear derailleur just because there was something some dirt in the housing, and it's so easy to get something. When I see the workshops of in some stores even, I am shocked they can service the bikes, because you really need a clean environment in order to do it well. Like if you don't want to hear any different sounds, any weird sounds in the bottom bracket, in your bearings of your headsets, you need to have clean table, clean racks, everything clean, okay? The derailleur is in the house, then the front derailleur. I'm gonna mount those first. You remember, don't remove the sticker until you finish the full setup of your both derailleurs and check the shifting. The Brazone is a great system. It's easier to adjust the front mag. Okay, I'm just gonna mount it and then adjust it a little bit later. And now my housings. All the housings I have. Okay, which one is for the rear mag? This is for the rear brake. It will go into this guide like this. So this is the rear brake. You can remove it. And this one, very short one, is for the rear derailleur. Very short one, isn't it? So Tiagra, the only thing you don't have on the Tiagra components is that you don't have the 11th gear. It's 10 speed, otherwise beautiful. It works very well. Just keep your cables clean, really. It's really that simple. Keep your cables clean and you're not gonna be having any issues with this one. It's just solid stuff. Of course it's heavier, but it doesn't matter unless you are truly a champion. Maybe you are very good, I don't know. But as for myself, I'm training quite a lot. I'm racing cross country quite a lot, and still my training road bike on Tiagra would be everything I need. Okay, the short one is tricky here. What I don't want to do is to break the cable. If you break it, it has to be straight. Okay. This looks so short, man. It is short. Okay. So one cable is here, and then this derailleur. I'm gonna set up the height. Okay, I'm gonna show you that. Now you've got another episode on this one. It is a little bit too low right now. Let's put it higher. So the sticker shows us the teeth of the crankset. That's easy. And I think this is it. And of course then you have to look at the angle of the rear mech, right? So that it will be parallel to the surface of the chainrings. And this one looks very good. Yeah. If you mess up with this angle, that's when the trimming problem comes. So make sure it's the right one. You can always tweak it a little bit after assembling it. This one is great. Then the cable. The cable, guys, has to go up and in. Also look at the arrows. It goes like this, here and up here. So we need to take a little curve here. Okay, front mech, rear mech is there. Okay, the cable for the rear mech. This is easy here on the rear mech. It's easy stuff. Great. And then the cable for the rear brake. That's something very interesting because we have to guide it through this hole, and that's another episode as well. So I'm gonna do the episode and go back to you. And I'm back with you with this episode. So I made a trick about how to guide the cable through the frame, which sometimes can be quite tricky. In this case it was quite okay. It was quite okay, except for the cable, which was bent too much. So if you have the bent cable, it's much more difficult to guide it through. But we made it. We've made it, guys. SuperSix EVO. What do you think about these colors? I don't like fluo that much, but the white line here at the back of the fork and the bottom of the frame, I'm loving it. Anyone has SuperSix EVO non-high modulus? I know, guys, when you buy something, I'm generalizing right now. Like, you customers want to buy something, they want to have the best stuff they've seen on the commercial or whatever. So high modulus would be the thing. But why bother high modulus if you have still carbon frame, light, responsive, and I would say more durable than the high modulus, because high modulus fibers are more brittle. So we could maybe expect a bit more compliance from this frame, and stiffness just enough. No one will be really complaining about the stiffness here. So the rear brake, now the front brake, which was just packed. I don't know why does the bike come with the rear brake assembled and the front brake disassembled. That's interesting. It doesn't bother me. I'm just wondering why is it so. So we are close to seeing the whole thing in the second. Okay. Okay, got the thread. So SuperSix EVO owners, tell us, how do you like your bikes? What you like, what you maybe don't like that much. Okay, I'm just pre-assembling some stuff in order to get the whole bike assembled, and then I will be adjusting everything. Now with the cables, when you are guiding the cables, make sure you plan how those go with other cables, so that there is no collision in between different housings. Here at the front seems to be fine. This looks okay. Alright. Looking good, guys. This is looking good. Indeedy. So the cables are long. We can cut them right now. And when you cut the cables, make sure they are not frayed. So nice. I don't know, very often stock cables are so long. I just keep maybe 1.5 centimeter extra, 15 millimeters extra. I can still have some possibility of adjusting back and forth. So that's how much I cut here. This was uncut cable. This was uncut, so this one, let us guide it through. And then the question is, AERO or not AERO? If you are buying budget, for some budget bikes, for others more affordable bike, this would for sure be non-AERO bike, because the non-AERO will be more expensive, and also it will be heavier. So if you buy like an alloy AERO bike, it will be considerably heavier than the carbon one, because of more materials. That's simple. And remember, on AERO bike you will want to have, you're gonna want to have some carbon wheels, maybe alloy, but AERO wheels, which adds the weight to the bike. So if you want to have everything, the full setup, AERO one, then you're gonna spend more money, much more money on it. Okay, the wheels come, and then I'm gonna just pump the wheels and adjust everything a bit later. Chain. It would be easier. No, it's okay to put the wheel on, and then I'm gonna put the chain. Through axles on the road bikes, for me, not necessary. I wouldn't say it's BS, because through axles are stiffer, but not necessary. If you have good frame, quality frame, I don't feel like I need through axles. For disc brakes, maybe, but I'm not 100% sure you need it for each and every bike. Of course, since it's become a standard now, all customers want to see through axles, so all the brands will offer you bikes with the through axles. Some designs of those, I don't like this. I always break those, you know? Yeah, I think I broke this one. No, I didn't. Good. Some designs of the through axles are quite smart. I've got now one from Didi Suisse, which I like, and then the other one is on the FSA wheel set, which I like also, because it's easier to open. On the mountain bike, the Cannondale FSI also has quicker opening of the wheel, which is cool. But with the stiffness of Cannondale FSI, I don't think through axle is something you need. But you get it because you want it, because people were complaining FSA didn't have through axles and other brands have. That's how marketing works, and this is why the budget mountain bikes come with something that mimics suspension fork, which is not suspension fork. Those heavy coil forks aren't safe, aren't made for mountain biking even. So I wouldn't call them really suspension forks. Okay, the wheels are there and we can see the whole bike, which is so nice. Pumping the wheels. When pumping the wheels, sometimes during, but also before, I'm checking for the inner tube, because sometimes the inner tube sticks out from the tire, from the bead of the tire. Like the bead of the tire is over the inner tube, and then when you pump, you get a flat. Many new bikes have it. Check out my video about 99% of new bikes need this servicing procedures, and you will see it really is like that. No BS. Such a bike for somebody who's just starting with road biking and can afford carbon Tiagra SuperSix EVO. 95 psi is good starting point. First, I'm gonna pump just about 70 psi, which for sure is too low, and leave it like that. Just, you know, let the inner tube stretch a little bit and get the tire in place. I'm always checking whether the tire is true, so the bead sits where it should sit. Cool. Having this, and then we can use some nice trick. Boom, boom, and the front wheel will hold. You know that one. And then the rear one, let's check the inner tube. So budget bikes and more affordable racing bikes, I would go for non-AERO. You just get more for the money, and of course less weight. I've been testing super duper AERO machine with AERO wheels 56 millimeters deep, which weighs same amount of kilograms or grams as my Merida not Merida Cyclocross, my Merida Silex, the gravel bike, because of the AERO everything. So the frame will be a little bit heavier, but also the wheels are heavier on my carbon bike, or not even carbon, the Cyclocross as well. There are light wheels, about 1400 grams. And then the 56 millimeters wheels on the AERO bike I have are like 1,650 grams. So that makes a difference. Then the AERO seat post, and that's how you gain weight. But it's still so exciting. The AERO bikes for me are so exciting, looking so good. They are so sexy. Really like those. And this is our SuperSix EVO, my friends. What I can tell you about this bike, let's just get closer. And I'm gonna tell you a bit about the bike. So, Tiagra shifters. These are very good and very comfortable shifters. The shape of the hoods and even the levers is very similar to even Dura-Ace. Very similar. If you like Shimano Dura-Ace, you will not get tired. You will not get any numbness in your palms on Shimano Tiagra. That's one thing. The shifting, the shifting down the cassette feels a little bit more like less crisp. It's softer. You don't even hear that click as much as you hear on the Tiagra. See, it's like very soft, but still it is the cables and the housings that are clean that make the shifting very good. And the rear derailleur is okay. Of course, there's no shadow system here just yet. It's on the 105, but it's great. The wheels, these are not even RS Shimano wheels. This is Maddox with Formula hubs. So these are okay, but this is not like high quality racing wheel set. It's super for training, super for riding. You can, of course, you can race on this bike. You can do some crits, no problem. But don't expect at this price point any great wheels, because even on much more expensive bikes, the wheels will still, you know, the manufacturer will still try to save some money on the wheels. And as I said, we've got the BB30 right here, so the bottom bracket is huge. We've got the Delta seat tube, which gets wider towards the bottom bracket area, and then we have the Speed Safe. Okay, Speed Safe, that's the safe system for speed bikes, which means racing machines. That's the Cannondale Cut 12, Cannondale SuperSix EVO, and SuperSix EVO High Modulus. Thin line technology, it's right there. It's not even called thin line here. They write it on the Cannondale Optimo, Cut Optimo, maybe even Cut 12, not here. But these are really thin seat stays, flattened chain stays, but then they are quite wide right here. So they make great shifting. I'm gonna put the weight in the description. I'm gonna put the chain on and then weigh the bike. I like the bike, guys. I really like the bikes, and great feature is 25.4 millimeters seat post, because it flexes so much. So it does take a lot from the road bus. Very nicely done head tube. And then the colors. See, this is white here, and this white goes into this white stripe at the bottom of this bike, which looks pretty cool. Pretty cool. I like it. So thanks, guys, for hanging out with me. This is all about more affordable carbon racing bikes. I would much rather buy a good carbon bike on the Tiagra components than the frame, carbon frame. I know nothing or not much about on Shimano 105 or even Tiagra, because you can upgrade the bike. And from my observations, I would make this little part of the housing a little bit shorter. That's it. See ya.